Hey, how's everyone doing? Welcome to Self Empowerment. Today we're going to be talking about addictions and how they can take our powers away. Um, Karuna's in the room, ready to join us.
Hey,
Hey, Karuna. Ooh, I love your background today.
in a different place, different energies.
Yeah, how's it going?
Good. I'm enjoying my visit here, so that's awesome.
Yeah, we're now not so far from each other, which is nice.
Yeah. All right. So today is our third episode, and Julie is a life coach, a spiritual life coach. You want to say anything else?
Yeah, welcome back for another series. I love having these discussions with you, Karuna. Each week we're building upon it. We're both life coaches. Karuna is a hypnotherapist as well and does a lot of energy healing work. And yeah, we've been going deep, taking deep dive into each topic week by week. We started with a self-love series and moved on towards a self-empowerment series. And today we're going to be talking specifically about addictions and how we sort of lose our power or they take away our power, which is very, very much related to that self-empowerment.
True. And I think the whole series on self-empowerment is helping us to bring our power back from places, people, situations that we've left our power in. And then also we are going to talk about how to use that power more constructively, because power is such a strong energy that we can misuse it also. And therefore, one of the reasons we started with self love is if you make love as the foundation of your life, then you're going to use the power constructively. Instead of using it negatively and creating more karmic debt on yourself, you'll be using it more constructively for the betterment of your own life and the society.
Yeah, and I think that self-empowerment really is almost the self journey of discovering yourself and healing yourself from whatever wounds or traumas or anything that you've kind of went through. So it's going to be interesting today to talk about addictions and how those, like you said, actually take away our power and how we can, build some of that awareness back into to realize actually we again are in control of the situation and are choosing the things that we do.
Yeah, and addictions can is a wide range of addictions. So, the most general thing that people think about addictions is chemical addictions that we related to substance abuse, drugs, alcohol. But it's way more addictions. There are way more addictions than just the chemical ones. There are all those mental addictions we have of negative thinking. Right, is also an addiction. Some people are compulsive negative thinkers, so that's also an addiction. And now I think Googling has become an addiction. I was surprised when I read about it a couple of years back that Googling is now considered a official addiction, right? So being on the computer all the time is addiction. Addictions can also be some silent addictions like being codependent. It's also an addiction where you're just dependent, even though it is not empowering you in any way. You will still get addicted to a person, right? And other forms could be like an obsession with shopping, right? Or obsession with work also. And I would say even spiritual obsession, right? Some people are so obsessed about spirituality that they forget about living their daily life, right? So are there any other kinds that you can think of, Julie?
I can also think of, like you talked about the thought, how much overthinking, that I can relate to that, the overthinking idea, or the idea of always wanting to become an expert at every single thing. So you become obsessed and going a little too deep in everything, um,
Hmm.
trying to get that extra expertise, maybe when it's not so needed. So I would almost label addictions as anything to an extreme.
Yeah.
Anything in any kind of extreme, whether it's your behavior, your thinking, or a physical act.
Right. And it's a wide range, actually. Some of it could be harmful for you, like alcohol and drugs. If you're really addicted to it, then it can create a lot of alteration in your brain and your mind, right? In which case, I think when it is too deep rooted, then you need to take professional help, right? I would definitely combine holistic ways of healing uh, along with any traditional step, 12-step program, or whatever else you're doing with it. But there are other kinds of addictions, which is like addictions to sugar or addictions to salty food, or addiction to thinking negative. And we've been talking about these various things in many of our episodes so far on self-love and self-empowerment. How can we let go of limiting ways of thinking all the time, letting go of fears that are making addictive behaviors? I think the root cause of addiction normally is several, of course, but I would think that it is more to do with some deep-seated pain or trauma that you've encountered, right? Which could, we talked about being result in victim mindset, but it can also result in some addictive behavior. Right? So there is something deep-rooted going on within you because of which you're trying to find pleasure in your addictions, right? And you may not even realize that you're trying to find pleasure in it, but it's a way of escaping from whatever is bothering you deep inside of you. So
Yeah.
that's one way of looking at it, right?
Yeah, the metaphor that comes to mind is, the iceberg and how much of it is showing on top of the surface versus how much is really all underneath. So
Mhm.
the surface is
Yeah.
maybe you're, drinking too much, but underneath that, there's so much root cause and so much to dig into understanding why it is that you feel the need to, almost get rid of these feelings or just distract yourself or whatever it is. So I think me and you are always on the same page with what's the root cause? How can you take a little bit deeper into understanding why these things are surfacing?
And because we both believe in energy healing and that we are all energy beings, we are vibrational beings, we are vibrating because we are energy beings, we are vibrating at a particular frequency, and like energy attracts like energy. So there is maybe the cause of addictions is something not only in this lifetime, but it's many times I think it comes from any other lifetime because a certain amount of momentum has to develop within your energy body for you to get into something like an addictive behavior. So it doesn't really happen all of a sudden. It's slowly building up within you, the pain, the trauma, or self-esteem issues, or self-confidence issues, or whatever is the underlying depression could create that too, right? Obsessive behaviors gets created. So there is some underlying issue, but based on my working with the people and being an energy healer, I think a lot of it comes from many, many lifetimes. It reaches a crescendo in this lifetime, and then you create the addictive behavior. Right. Also, it can be another way of looking at it from an energetic perspective. It's also imbalances in your chakra. So those chakra imbalances can result in addictive behaviors too. So another way of taking care of your addictions is also getting your chakras balanced and your aura taken care of. So that's for those who believe in energy healing, that there's another route to healing from addictions. But if it's a new habit and it's just started, like I know some time ago, I was like trying to, it's not that I'm a sugar addict or anything, I'm not. But I still wanted to reduce even the amount of sugar I was having with it. So I put up posters in the house reminding me no sugar. When I'm shopping, being very careful that I don't buy sugary things, right? And when I'm going out for parties and all that, I'm being very contained about how much sugar I take in. So certain things you can actually start working on it on your own. Once you realize your addictions, then you can actually start working on it just using normal willpower and control and structured way of looking at things, right?
Yeah,
But there are certain.
and
Go
the
ahead.
first step, like you were saying, is acknowledging and accepting or admitting that, okay, I see myself doing this. Let me dig deeper into understanding what and kind of take ownership. And that's sort of related to the victim mindset we talked about in the last episode of how can you take ownership, really reflect on what's going on right now. And then from that point, sort of admit that you're maybe stepping into some powerless behavior, and how can you flip that back around and go back into that self-empowerment.
Yeah, because when you're addicted to something, most of it and the addictions result in something that takes you away from fulfilling your life purpose. Because you'll end up into a behavior or into a mindset or into a physical addiction, a chemical dependency, and then you are letting your power go to those things. And now almost like after a while, you don't have control over yourself anymore. You've lost your control to that addictive substance or addictive person. Could be even people. We get addicted to people too. And even though they are not good for us and we don't feel empowered in their presence, like a codependent relationship, for example, you would still continue being in that relationship or continue being around that people because it's just It's just the way you've framed your mind that I don't have a choice here. It's like a victim mindset. I just have to be with this, right? Or that person is satisfying in codependency, that person is satisfying some need within you, which you think you cannot handle on your own. And then you are addicted to the person, even though it's always draining your energy, right? So, yeah, you have to be self aware to figure out where you are giving your power away, where you got yourself addicted. And first step is, of course, self awareness. And we always come back to that, don't we? You have to be aware on your own. Where are you giving your power away?
Well,
Right?
it's the idea too that you're whatever's familiar, you're going to keep doing. So it's how can you make the familiar unfamiliar and then the unfamiliar familiar and sort of flip the roles and play around with what you're used to and getting out of that
Mm.
comfort zone.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that first step is acknowledging, because you don't even sometimes you always think of addiction as chemical addictions. You don't think you are addicted to anything, but I think all of us are addicted to something or someone at some point in our life, right? And to get out of that mindset, to get out of that knowing that no, you can get your power back, and you don't have to be addicted to this person, place, or situation anymore, right? And that you can set boundaries. You can start filling your energy with positivity. I think helps a lot, because a lot of the addictive behavior is because of the negativity that you're storing within you. So even having a gratitude journal, for example, you're making your energy more positive. And that your mind may not understand it, but it kind of affects your energy. And when your energy becomes higher frequency and you're bringing your positivity up more and more, then automatically you're not attracting negative behaviors or negative substances within you, because the positive energy kind of transmutes all the negative waves within your body, right? So learning how to be positive is another thing. You can find tools and techniques to learn to be more positive. I think we have given quite some techniques, right, in our previous talks on self-love and the how to become more positive, how to take back control of your life, how to let go of limiting beliefs, how to let go of fears, right? Because all these are leading to some kind of addictive behavior, right? It's like blaming others is also an addictive behavior, right?
Yeah. Yeah, one of my favorite tools that we gave to our audience is, well, building the story of who you are. And I think it can be applied in this case because the more you know yourself, the more you can sort of analyze, is what I'm doing a pattern? Am I falling into something that's addictive, or, is everything going well? And being able to know yourself also is a great way to understand what are some of your triggers that trigger some of these addictions. And
Yeah.
that having that knowledge is very powerful, because if you know you have a tendency to go into this when you're around these certain people or when you're in this certain environment, then you can take your power back and say, oh, okay, I realize when I'm here and doing this and saying that or seeing these people, this is what ends up happening. So you kind of can pick up on that pattern for yourself.
Yeah, and some of your addictions you may already know, like people have addictions such as even hair pulling, right? Could be an addiction or biting your nails or fingernails, right? Because you realize, oh my God, these stressful situations, I get stressed. Sorry. And then I start biting my nails, pulling my hair, right? So you can start becoming those kind of patterns you're aware of, because you're doing something that's harming your physical body, right? So in which case you are aware that you have something that is going on, some obsessive behavior, right? I'm not very clear about difference between obsessive behavior and addictions. I think they're kind of interrelated with each other, right? Because after a while, addictions become like obsessive behaviors too.
Yeah.
Right? But
Yeah.
it's your mind, right? It's your mind you have to change.
It's pretty complex, but I'm also a huge believer that whatever is happening to you physically, like biting your nails or pulling your hair or your stomach hurts, for me is always the case, is a
Mhm.
sign that something's going on or something's happening. So also, if you can look out for what are some of the symptoms that are coming out in you physically, are a huge key in sort of shedding light onto what something may be, going on. And maybe that sheds light on the root cause, like, oh, I'm biting my nails again, I'm super stressed, oh, why am I stressed? And then you can kind of follow the pattern into understanding why it is that you're feeling stressed at the moment.
Yeah, and you can also have some stress management techniques that you can use and say, okay, I can feel my stress building up, so let me take this technique and reduce my stress so before I get into doing some of my addictive behavior. right? So yeah, there is, I think, number of things. Some of the things you can work on just without needing therapy and all that, where you can actually start taking back your control. It could be like if you're addicted to having 6 cups of coffee in a day, then maybe instead of 6 full cups of coffee 6 times a day, you can reduce it to 3/4 cups, but still continue having 6 times a day, because during those periods of the day you need some coffee. But you can start cutting down the amount you have, right? So that way you can still, and then slowly over time you can cut down the number of cups. So I think we talked about always taking baby steps, right? Instead of trying to go cold shoulder, cold turkey, as they call it. And yeah, some people can do cold turkey too, because everybody's situation is different, right? Some event happens in your life and suddenly you wake up and say, oh my God, this friend of mine, he was so young and he just died because he was smoking so much. So I need to give up my smoking addiction now, right? So something within that, the fear of death can just trigger and use action where you just give up cold turkey.
Yeah.
But for most things, I think a gradual approach works. So if you start reducing little by little, right? We are not talking of the extreme addictions. You need professional help there. Okay, so you have to, like, if you're totally in the control of a chemicals abuse, substance abuse thing, then you need to take some proper help, professional help, because it's a chemical imbalance created in the brain now. So
Yeah.
you need support and help for getting back to your normal state again, right? But yeah, most of the things, if you can catch it early on, then we can start working on it and start changing and start understanding, right? Recently, I was working with a teenager, for example, and he was addicted to getting more and more into drugs and alcohol, right? But it was early stages. So we started drilling, because I was deeply intuitive. I could sense what was going on with him. And just by using some techniques and helping him reframe his thinking and his life, uh, he's made some phenomenal progress just in 4 sessions. He's made a big change in himself. So yes, there is hope always. There is nothing that you have to always think, oh my God, I'm addicted and nothing can change in my life now
Yeah.
because I can't get rid of this habit. It's just ingrained.
Yeah.
Right? But habits are programs in your brains, and with hypnotherapy, we definitely know how to change programs in the brain, right? And life coaching helps a lot too, to help you figure out what's going on with your life, right? So I always think many times it's the life coaching is the first step, where you can help the person actually figure out what's going on in their life, and then you can take therapy to understand how to release and let go. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what you mentioned was really powerful, because if you get to a point where you are powerless, then that's when you start going down, the slope, and it just escalates from there. But if you can catch yourself when you're starting to feel that powerlessness, and you can go back into, wait a second, I'm falling down the trap, and okay, now how do I get back to that self-empowerment is key. And sometimes that takes hitting low lows, sometimes that takes reflection work, sometimes that, like you said, someone that, like, close to you may pass away from smoking or anything. Sometimes you get those little messages from life that sort of steer you back into a different direction. But at the end of the day, why it's so related to self-empowerment is that before you get to that powerlessness and you feel like, oh, nothing I can do will change this, you still have a lot of opportunity to pull that back and feel more empowered in those moments.
Yeah, we have to realize we have power. All of us, each and every human being on planet has power. It's just that we have suppressed that power so deep within us that we've forgotten we have it, right? And so you need to first and foremost is you need to have the will to want to change, right? Nobody can really force you to change. And I think both of us have worked with a lot of clients, and we know that unless that you have the will to change, change cannot happen. It cannot happen because, oh, I have to come to you because the doctor told me to come, or my parents are forcing me to, right? Something within you. Sometimes I have to work with increasing their motivation in their life to want to change, right? And once that motivation is high, then I can start attacking the problem. But before that, I'm going to work on them to figure out, like you said, what is your story? Who are you? Maybe you've lost who you are in whatever is going on and presently in your circumstances. And you've decided, okay, I'm worthless because now I'm married to this person and this person is treating me badly. And now I started thinking that I'm not good enough,
Yeah.
right? Or it could be a teacher in the school who's constantly putting you down, or it could be some family member, right? And you've forgotten who you were. So it's like, can you come back to finding out first who you are? Right? Because that's the thing. So if I know that I'm a wonderful person or whatever I define myself to be, then I'm like, okay, I need to get my power back because I like that person that I was. and I want to go back to being that person. I want to take my power away from this obsessive behavior that I have. Right? So first step is you have to develop that will to say, you know what, I want to have a change. And once you develop, then you are basically again getting the steering wheel of your car back in your hands and saying, you know what, I'm not going to allow these people, places, situations, or substances to take control of my life. Right?
Yeah.
And it's a journey, but and we all go through this. So there's nothing to feel ashamed of or feel bad, because everybody of us is coping through so many different situations and experiences in our life, and all of us are coming with different set of tools to go through this experiences we are having in our life. And to fall down and to get up is a great lesson to learn, I think.
Yeah.
Instead of thinking that if I've fallen, I am not worth it.
Yeah.
Right?
The play of life that we always talk about, how can you kind of go through it with experiencing exactly what you came here to experience, and finding your purpose will help you keep going in understanding, okay, who am I, what am I here to do, and what do I want to do, and taking that power back of saying there's a reason I'm here. What is this reason?
Yeah. And also not labeling yourself. Labeling yourself just creates more havoc in your energy field. Because it's almost like when you label yourself, say, oh, I'm an addict. I'm no good because I'm just an addict. What are you doing is you're kind of energetically, you're connecting to a cloud. And the cloud is composed of millions and millions of people who are going through the similar thing like you are doing. So you're connecting to the wrong cloud, because they are the people who are not feeling good about themselves. And that energy, you keep drawing yourselves, like you connect energetic cord to these cloud, and then the cloud is not very strong, right? Because it's not empowering you. So whenever you create a label for yourself, you're connecting to a cloud. So don't create a label. You can say, okay, I tend to drink a little more than I should be. That's better than saying I'm an alcoholic now, right? So sometimes you have to also be careful about how you define yourself. And even if you're having an addictive behavior, doesn't mean you're a bad person. You're still a great person. You just, some experience in your life, the pain or the trauma was so much that you slipped and went down.
Yeah.
But you have the power to climb back up again.
Yeah.
And when you do, you're going to be so much stronger. Because the confidence you get of knowing that, you know what, even if I am pushed into the darkest part of my life, I still know how to get up and walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's very powerful and encouraging, inspiring, and being able to kind of look around you who has maybe been in the same similar footsteps as you and who's made it out, and trying to understand that there's always a way out of this, or the light at the end of the tunnel, like we always say. And
Yeah.
that like we talked about, addictions can be of various amounts of things, various degrees, various levels. We all have them at some point or another. It's just being honest with ourselves and just figuring out what we want to do with the information that we have.
Yeah. And also always knowing there's hope. Never give up on hope, guys, because there is always, always hope. I don't think there's anything you can go down so much that you can come up, because life doesn't give you anything that you cannot handle, actually, right? Because you're on a journey and there are spiritual guides and masters who are guiding you on the journey. So if you've gone through an experience where you've moved away from the divine a lot and you've slipped down, if you keep your eyes towards the light of just knowing that I want to get better, I am going to fight this thing out. And you can take the support of holistic healers, and they can help you and hold your hand and guide you back to the right path again. So never give up hope. I think that's another thing I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I've had a few cases recently of people who did suicide, and I was thinking, yeah, they gave up, and they need to get it back. If they had just got the right help, if they had sought, because once you set an intention that I need help, then I think the universe will deliver the help to you in one form or the other. Yeah.
Once you're ready to work on certain things, it's amazing how many things come to you.
Yeah, you just have to have the will. I think the will is the most important thing. You need to have the will to know that I want to get out of this pit, whatever pit you've got yourself into, right? And then things will start moving for you. It's almost like there is a universal force waiting for you to set up your intention. The minute you set your intention, I mean, boom, so much help comes to you, and then suddenly, yeah, I can do this.
Yeah.
But I think most important is cleaning your energy field. Right? Because like energy attracts like energy. So if there's a lot of negativity in your energy field, then you are going to land up in some kind of an obsessive behavior. or some kind of an addiction, whether it's addiction to negative thinking, as we talked about, or addictions to feeling low self-esteem, low self-confidence, right? So cleaning your energy field once in a while is very important. Just like we take a car for maintenance, right? Because we don't want it to break down. So we will schedule a maintenance for a car. Your body is your vehicle too. Your mind is your vehicle too. Take it for maintenance once in a while. Get it cleaned out, because the more negativity you carry around, the more susceptible you are to getting addicted to something or the other, right? Like addiction to sweet, for example, could be a way of seeking pleasure from life, because in your energy field you're holding so much negativity that the body is not feeling happy in that energy field. So now you're going to seek happiness from outside, and for many people food is a way of getting pleasure, right? Because we are given food as a reward in many cultures, right? Giving you good food if you did something good, right? So I think sometimes it's very difficult to do it with just willpower going to get over the addictions. You need to come and get your energy cleaned out.
Yeah.
Right. And once you are with a cleaner energy, automatically you will gravitate more positive things in your life. Yeah.
Yeah.
And things come from your other lifetimes too, right?
That comes back to like energy attracts like energy, and you mirror the outside world with your inside world and vice versa. And so how can you kind of use that to your advantage and, you know, continue being that energy being to your advantage to kind
Yeah.
of clear up some things that are still that you want to heal and that are still hurting.
I think we need to create a paradigm shift on how we look at health, right? Because with the current way of looking at health only as a physical thing is not really helping the world. We have more stress, anxiety, depression in the world now than we did before, right? A few decades ago. So we need to bring our understanding. We are not just physical beings. As long as we limit ourselves to thinking we are physical beings, we are going to suffer more and more. Right? Because I think the consciousness level of humans are rising slowly, and more people are realizing we are holistic beings. What does that mean? It means you're not just this physical body. You have an energetic field around you. And that energetic field around you contains all your emotions, your thoughts, your values, your experiences. Right? I can't dissect a human body and find where his happiness or sadness is lying. Right? So that means, but that happiness and sadness are affecting the physical body. Right? We say positive patient recovers faster than a negative patient. Right? So you need to understand that you're not just the physical body, you are an energetic being, and this energy of yours has to be kept clean. Holistic health is when your emotions are balanced, your thoughts are balanced, right? You have strong values, right? And your physical body is good. All four things are working together, they are interconnected with each other, right? So when everything is well in your energy field, your chakras are balanced, then less likelihood of you getting into addictions, right? So another way.
Yeah.
Right? Another way of thinking about your health, another way of looking at life, right? Because the conventional way is not really helping. We need to understand that we are more, right? And a lot of things you can take care of in your life just by getting your energy field cleaned out, right? And to clean the energy field, your thoughts and emotions have to be cleaned out too. But you need some life coaching to understand what parts of your energy field you need clearing, so that person can help you delve into and say, maybe you have this limiting belief, or maybe all these fears are making you do this behavior, right? Maybe there's this underlying fear lying. And once you get that in the root, or at least understand the category which is affecting you, then you can take some help of a healer and you can work on cleaning those things out from your energy field, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a whole journey and process to go through. But like it starts with that awareness of, okay, where is it that you want to take your power back? And now how you choose to do it, there's endless opportunities and possibilities. But it's so nice to see everyone commenting and everyone joining. We both love to hear any insights or feedback that you have from the sessions and the conversations, and if there's any specific topics that you would like us to discuss. But what I love most is how everything's always intertwined at the end of the day, and like self-love is such a huge topic, self-empowerment is such a huge topic, and I love your message on, you know, never lose hope, because there's always someone there that can help you or guide you or support you in any way that you need. All you have to do is reach your hand out for them to be able to grab it, and not the other way around.
Yeah, and I think next time we're going to talk on something a little bit more different from people. Let's talk of past lives, right? Because a lot of our power we've lost in other lifetimes, and therefore we are not able to get it back, right? So I think next time we're going to talk about past lives. So whether you believe in past lives or not, keep an open mind, and maybe you will get some grains of new understanding about life and what life is all about, right?
Yeah.
So we can delve a little bit into more little spiritual angle to the whole thing next time and look at things.
Yeah.
I think it's great to look at things from a broader perspective, right? So hopefully, yeah, I think let's bring that new dimension to our living. Where are we? Where have we lost our power? How can we get it back? And first of all, how understanding who we are, right?
Right.
So yeah, let's do that next time. Let's talk about past lives.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm really grateful that we've crossed paths, Karuna. I've learned so much from you and
Me too.
so much healing work, and I love this whole journey, and it's never ending, and every time you just step more and more into the self-empowerment and you heal and heal more of yourself, and you just discover what's possible and your purpose, and all of that is super inspiring and motivating, and that's my hope as a coach, to kind of keep spreading that on to others as well, to continue their journey of inner work.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for doing this.
Thanks everyone for joining, and we'll see you next time. See you, Karuna. Bye.
Bye. Have a great day.
You too.